Together, let's read. 1 to go.
Cybersecurity.
Protecting computers, networks, and data from on. So what is the key word here?
Unauthorized access.
Or. So that's it. When we say we are trying to be very cybersecurity conscious, we are trying to make sure that we first don't grant unauthorized access, which is also a breach of communication or breach of security, and also any form of attack. So somebody might just stumble in your space. It's not like they intended to stumble on it. Unauthorized access. Somebody else wants to enter into your space. What's that called? Even though you don't want them to, and they are forcing themselves in. What do you call that? An attack. So let's move on. We talked about phishing, right? Talked about malware, talked about password hacking, we talked about social engineering, right? Now let's move on. We talked about how to stay safe online, right? Did I touch on this? Not really. I did not take so much time on how to stay safe online. I only talked about avoiding suspicious links, which is where I emphasize so much on those of you who probably access certain links, and in that link it just has HTTP. It doesn't have an S. Now, there are many forms of suspicious links that you should be very aware of. I was going to talk about something very important, and it's called antivirus. Say antivirus.
Antivirus.
Because I'm certain that many of you would have thought, oh, uncle, if we are trying to protect ourselves online, why not just get an antivirus that is trained to understand how to protect us from cyber attack? Is that not the common sense?
Yes.
Is that not the common sense?
Yes.
Now, let me take my time to delve very deeply on this matter. Or let me say it, use an analogy. If you built a house and then somebody tries to come and meet you after you have moved into the house and say, hello, madam, please, I want to be your gate man. Don't worry, you don't have to pay me. Would you allow them?
No.
Why wouldn't you allow them? For free. Yes? Everybody here agrees with that, right?
Yes.
Is there anybody here who believes that is a particular kind of generous gate man that want to protect your house for free? Morning, afternoon, night, evening, for free. Nobody believes that, right? Right? So nobody believes that anybody should protect your house for free. Because the idea is, if you leave that man at your gate for free, guess what happens eventually? He would become the criminal that boggles your house. Because what you have just done is you have allowed him access to learn your modus operandi. The modus operandi simply talks about the way you live your life. When you leave the house in the morning, when you come back in the lunch or in the afternoon for lunch, when you finally come back at the close of the office after the end of the day, who visits you and what time, what friends you have, what visitors you might have. The person already learns your modus operandi. So they already know what the best time to strike would be, don't they?
Yes.
Don't they?
Yes.
So if you have this psychology for a gate man, why don't you sustain the same psychology for somebody who claims to protect you from cyber threat for free? Now, I'm going to show you how to protect your PCs. Now, many of you are always wondering, okay, so uncle, how do you protect our computers? That's the question in your mind, right? You protect it by keeping your software and antivirus up to date. And how do you do that? Every Windows computer comes pre-installed with what we call a Windows Defender. Say Windows Defender.
Windows Defender.
So what that means is that already pre-installed on your system is a form of security that protects your system. Why? Because the person who created your operating system, you call it maybe Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 8, Windows 7, whatever form of them is called what? An operating system. The person who created that operating system created it with a level of security. But what you need to do is to constantly update that security so that it can stay up to date with the latest form of malicious attacks. So what I'm saying is, let's go back to my first analogy where I talked about a gate man that wants to protect your house for free, who is not related to you in any way. Now, in your own house, do you have locks and keys? Do you have locks and keys?
Yes.
Now, those locks and keys, what do you do? You use them to protect your house. Guess what? Do you know your house is more safe or is safer when you have your locks and your keys and you lock your house right house? You put a gate, you put a door. You check the door constantly, right? If the door is getting weak, what do? Keep it weak. Leave it weak. Your padlock is getting weak. What do? And then how do you even know your padlock is getting weak? By constantly checking on it, right? So if perhaps they now say, there's a particular type of lock that everybody buys in the market nowadays that burglars have a master key on, what do? You change your lock. So what have you just done? You have updated your security system, right? So when we now say keep your software and antivirus programs up to date, what we are saying is that always make the most of the inbuilt security systems you have that comes with your operating system, rather than trusting a free to air software or antivirus program. Because what that means is that after a while they can become the virus on your own PC. Do you understand that? So that also conversely saying that most likely than not, if you were to get an antivirus, this is the most important part about this antivirus thing. If you were to get an antivirus, the antivirus that is most likely to stand the test of time would be a what? A paid antivirus, right? So we don't have a problem with a gate man. The only problem we have with a gate man is what? A gate man that protects your house for. So having a gate man is not bad, right? But having a gate man that wants to do it for free, you all know it should become a problem for you. So if you have a gate man that is protecting your house and you are paying them, you can guarantee to a level that what? They will do their job. So when you want to get an antivirus and you get an antivirus that is probably a claim that you are willing to pay for, you are very likely to have gotten the right antivirus. But I know many of us at this level always do not have that kind of spare cash to buy antiviruses that can protect our devices from malicious attacks. So the best case scenario for you at this level is to always keep your own software and antivirus programs, which is the one that came with your OS, which is, for instance, Windows Defender. Say it after me. Windows Defender is the inbuilt security software or antivirus software on your own device that you can easily update to make sure that your device is always up to date. And besides that, I hope you know that there are very many ways of accessing your device. So beyond just trying to protect your devices, for instance, your PC now, from being ravaged by a virus, there are also simple common sense things you must do, right? So if, for instance, I have a good door but I forget to lock the door, am I protected? If somebody comes to my house and wants to use a key, am I protected? Like I maybe misplaced my key and then the person picks up my key and wants to, am I protected? No, I have not done my own due diligence. What I'm saying with that is somebody now comes to you and then carries a flash drive and you have not even verified the flash drive, and then you now let the person put the flash drive on your device. What have you just done? You have opened your device to what? A malicious attack. Why? Because you did not do your due diligence on the flash. And if you now have an updated Windows software program or antivirus device or antivirus software on your device, what it now does is that it should alert you that, hey, something fishy is going down, and then it calls your attention to it. So if perhaps somebody gave you a flash and even to them they are not aware of the fact that the flash now has a virus, the moment you insert that flash in your PC, what happens to you is that it tells you that there's a virus threat alert. What that should make you do is to do what? Either quickly eject it, don't force remove, eject it. That means that, okay, it has told you don't interact with that flash, eject that device, and then your PC is safe. But when it tells you that the device you have just imputed is not safe, and you still go ahead and eventually you get attacked by the virus that was already trapped in that particular device, whether it's a flash drive, whether it's a phone, an external hard drive, whatever it is, you have now allowed your device to be attacked. Do you understand that? is the other one on how to stay safe online is to be what? Be cautious of what you share. I gave an example last week where I said somebody does a social engineering attempt and is asking questions about how many people have rich parents. Maybe they can just even say a social media challenge. Let us see who has the finest house, right? Because a good house is a marker of wealth, right? So if you have a house that has chandeliers, has a very big 85 screen plasma TV, you have air conditioner, it tells that you are very comfortable, right? Somebody now creates a dance challenge or a challenge in that way, and then you are going ahead to make a video to show that you have a very wonderful house. What you don't know is that you are sharing a detail that can be weaponized against you. So if somebody now decides to kidnap you in the day to come, they're wondering why they select you. You don't realize that you have a digital footprint on social media that gives us a vibe that you are from a wealthy family, and so you are most likely to be a potential victim for kidnap. So be careful of what you share online. There are also people who might use your data to impersonate you. I talked about that, where they might just start picking. So if you overshare pictures and videos of yourself, somebody can literally create another social media account with your details and then start to live like you were the one. And what happens is that they go about lying that they are you. Meanwhile, what they just do is that they just go on your social media page, download your social media materials, and live like you were the one. So they can go about asking, begging, scamming people, and all of that. And then eventually somebody now says you're a thief. Say me, I've never stolen anybody's money in my life. They say it's a lie. Are you not so person? Yes, I'm so person. How come? But I disconnected 5 million naira from my account yesterday. I did not. I don't even know you. Then they go around and now realize that somebody has cloned your account and they are using your own account to lie around the internet, and it was unknown to you. But how were they able to do that? It was because you provided them with too much data that was now weaponized against you. That's why we say what? Be cautious of what you share on social media. Now, this is my question. So, are older adults more vulnerable to cyber threats than younger people? We spoke about that briefly last week, but now we have time to take response and all of that. So, do you believe it? True or false? Older adults, this is a statement. Older adults are more vulnerable to cyber threats than younger people. True or false? Okay, so if you say true, why? If you say false, why? Let me hear you. If you say true, let me hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Because as the younger ones are growing, they're having more knowledge about the cyber threats that are coming up and how people are using things to how I say it now, like how people are doing the cyber threat, but the adults they are no more learning to have that knowledge that the younger ones are having.
So that's because you believe that adults don't learn, right? But am I an adult?
No, not that
Am I not learning?
but younger ones they go more into research than adults.
Ah, so you're saying you go more into said than I do. I understand you absolutely. Anybody else with another opinion? Yes.
False. It's false because let's say the example you gave as somebody saying let's see the person with finest house. A young person can just come out and snapping their sitting room. Somebody like my mother will not even she just like what's her business with that? She cannot just stand in front of parlor and not be doing
Making a
videos, see
video.
my house, hi guys.
Uh-huh.
But someone like mommy, even if you not only my mom, other people now cannot just sit down when they have business and be sharing their pictures. Every day they snap one kind of picture. They don't have that time. But younger people, they can just sit down, take pictures, post, do this, go to
Now, but talking about that thing now, talking about your business. Now, somebody sells cars, right? And then they now start to talk about the cars they sell on their social media page, and they're an adult. Doesn't that also still make them victims of kidnaps? Because now the person is obviously telling us that they have a lot of cars, and if I kidnap this person, if he even sells only one car, that's my kidnap ransom. Can't I see kidnapping? It's two-sided. All right, you want to share what you think? All right, go ahead.
To my opinion,
In my own opinion,
it's false because let me say the younger ones have more access to all these apps that are not secured. And other ones, what is their business with apps? And younger ones today watch all these close videos without ads according to what you said, and just think that video is out there, it's not secure. So it has there will be access to hackers.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Everybody has given a fair try, but I must tell you the truth. And the truth is, everyone is vulnerable to a cyber attack. Anybody can fall a victim of a cyber attack. Every attack is only successful to the degree in which it is specifically and uniquely tailored to get you. But that's why we now have to put in structures that protect us. So whether it's the old person who you believe is more vulnerable because they might not pay attention to the details, or the young person who you believe should be more intelligent because they are always they are what we call digital natives. Doesn't matter, because if somebody comes online and tells you that I am going to make you rich, you might not believe that. But the person now makes you fill a little form, does a little task, and now tells you that, okay, you have earned $1. Please put your payment details so I can credit you your $1. And then you try it, and then he credits you your $1. What does that tell you? What would you think? This is legit, right? This is what? Legitimate. But what if that was the first step he needed to do to call your attention so I can steal more? So he now tells you, for you to enter the next step, you have to click on this link and pay $5. Now you see, because he paid you $1, your youthful mind tells you it cannot be a lie. Is that true? So you go in with your vim and your energy, and then guess what? You are defrauded. What I'm saying with that is, cybersecurity is not something that you should consciously and deliberately cultivate to ensure that you stay above. You don't just check some boxes and say, okay, I'm safe. No, you check it and keep improving and checking on it out, or checking out on it, so that you don't fall a victim because you think that you are more than secure.